What's up, book besties? Welcome to another episode of She's All Books, where we dive into the raddest reads that will totally blow your mind. Grab your favorite drink, kick back, and let's chat all things books. Because life's too short for boring stories. Ready? Let's get this book party started. Hey, book besties! Welcome to this episode of She's All Books. Here with me today is Laura, who writes under the name Laura Meredith. Hey, Laura, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so excited to have you. And for those of you who are tuning in, or maybe you're not familiar with Laura, Laura is an author from Yukon, Canada, and her bookish promise is that you will find spice, romance, and a guaranteed happily ever after between the pages of her books. And in addition to the books that Laura's published on Amazon, and do you have it on other locations other than Amazon?
Not yet. They will be coming to Indigo soon. Paperbacks only, though.
But in addition to those books that we're about to discuss and hardcore dive into, you also write on Wattpad, which I just asked you before we started recording how to pronounce that because I've seen it. I've never had to say it out loud. So you have quite the portfolio, and you do like book reviews and bookstagram stuff as a reader as well. So I'm so excited to have you on this episode and connect you with the audience. So thanks for joining me.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I'm excited as well. So we'll be talking about, like I said, the books that you have published currently that readers and the audience can find on Amazon. Two of kind of the breakdown is you have two books out, and this is a word that I'm probably going to mess up throughout the entire episode, and we talked about before as well. But the Calorglen series. Did I get that?
Yeah, you got it.
Calorglen.
Yeah.
I think my computer froze for a second there. So you have two of the four in that series out currently, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then you also have a standalone, and that's For the Love of Art. That is also published, and readers can get their hands on. So
yes.
We're going to dive into these. Can you give the audience just like a little overview of the series and the standalone, just so that they know what we're talking about a little bit, not too much, because we're going to really dive in with the paper fortune teller, but can you give them like a brief overview of these?
Yeah, so Calorglen and A Very Calorglan Christmas, they're out right now. Calorglen's a full-length book, and A Very Calorglan Christmas is a novella that kind of just came with it. Calorglen's the story of an uptight dentist trying to go through life with a checklist, and a free-spirited Irishman who comes along and changes all of that for her. So, and then A Very Calorglan Christmas kind of follows it up with what happens after the happily ever after. Essentially, it kind of answers that question for everybody who always wonders what happens. And then For the Love of Art is a standalone book. It's also my spiciest book I've ever written, and it, like, even when I read it back, I was shocked at myself. And it's about life after divorce. Kind of exploring what that looks like. I started writing it when I was in my early 20s, and at the time I thought 35 was really, really old. Now I'm like staring 35 in the eyes, and I'm like, it's really not that old, is it?
No, hi, 35 right here.
More, like in April I'll be 35, so I'm like, hey.
That is awesome. And for people who relate like to me, I hate telling characters goodbye. Like, I have the hardest time when a book ends. Like, I just want to know what happens next. Like, thank you for the happily ever after, but like, I'm not ready to part ways with them. So I love when authors do like a novella to let us like kind of see a glimpse, or even if it's like an interconnected series where I can like see glimpses of the previous characters and the following books. It always is exciting as a reader to see that. So,
well, I guess I should say, since you kind of asked about the series is going to continue, and you will see glimpses of the original couple in the last two books. So you will kind of see how life turned out for them in the end, and the final book will have a full wrap up for everybody so that everyone, so you can feel like if you've been following along all along, you'll really be able to feel happy with the conclusion. But even if you just pick up one or the other, you'll be able to, of course, know what happened in previous books, like to a degree.
That is awesome. And I am really, like, I think next week I am convinced I'm going to be able to read For the Love of Art, because I am dying. I just read I think I've only read 2 books that are like post-divorce tropes. And like, I'm dying to get my hands on it because I really have been enjoying that trope. So I cannot wait to get my hands on that. Yeah.
I agree, because I think there is something about, especially for women, for whatever reason, it's like for women, whenever you get divorced, it's like you're damaged goods, and it's like, nah, like, I don't know, I'm not divorced, I'm still happily married, but it's like there is just that feeling of like, well, if I do get divorced and I'm almost 35, am I now damaged goods? Like, now as I'm getting older and, you know, I have kids and I have baggage and it really does feel like, as a woman. And I was like, I don't like that. Let's rewrite that.
I love that. I'm so excited. And it's a trope that I hope to see more of. So very excited to dive into that. Can't wait to follow up with it. Let's dive in. Are you up for a round of Paper Fortune Teller?
I am. I'm excited.
And if you've ever seen an episode before, and those of you who watch all of the episodes, you can go ahead and plug your ears or fast forward. Did you call it a paper fortune teller or a cootie catcher?
We called it a cootie catcher.
A lot of my Canadian friends have said that. So that is not a surprise to me. I call it paper fortune teller, but I'll interchange it for this episode.
It's okay. I know what it is.
Yeah. Those of you who have never seen an episode of She's All Books, welcome. And if you are not a millennial or a Gen Xer, this is a paper fortune teller or a cootie catcher.
Oh my God. I love it so much. I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm in elementary school again.
This is my number 2. I had to retire number 1 because it was in shreds, and this one is almost in shreds as well, and I'll have to make a 3rd one. But for those of you who are not familiar, on the outside, it's hard to see right sometimes, but there's different colors. And on the inside, we have the numbers 1 through 8. And for each number, I have a corresponding question for Laura to answer about her books, about her as an author, just questions in general, to help us dig deeper and learn more about Laura and her work. So that's not the traditional way of playing this. The traditional way is more of like asking it a question. It'll tell you your future, like, does so-and-so like me? And then you'd go through the motions, and it would say like yes, no, or maybe, or try again, or something like that. So this is a little bit of a twist to your traditional way of playing paper fortune teller, but we're gonna go with it.
I feel like the paper fortune teller, I'm like, I realize now why maybe it's cootie catcher in Canada, because we used to do it too, where we would put names of like our crushes in there. No. So you'd like do it, and then you kind of flip it to see if you'd get your crush. And I'm like, maybe that's why it was like cootie. And I don't know, maybe that's just like a Yukon thing, because I like did it here, but we definitely did that with ours. I also never knew how to make one.
I mentally blocked that out, and maybe we did that as well. I don't know. I need to like ask some of my friends, like, hey, do you remember like if we did this? Because maybe, I don't know.
I so remember doing that. And all I ever wanted was this one guy, and I never got him. Like, never. It's fine. It didn't work out anyway. It's not like we ended up together.
They don't lie. It knew it.
Well, any of the others either.
Well, yeah, whatever. So we'll use this to guide our questions. I will ask you, remind you what the colors are, and I will write down the numbers you choose, because if you've watched this show before, you know that I can't keep it straight, and I'll start asking you the same question over and over again. So that's why I have this pen I keep waving around the air. So your color options are pink, yellow, orange, or green.
Okay, well, pink's my favorite color, so we'll start there.
I think 90% of authors choose pink first. I'm also going to start collecting data on this. Okay. PINK. And your number options are 1, 2, 5, or 6.
Let's go 5.
Let's go with question number 5. All right. Question number 5 is, when you're writing, do you have a favorite snack or drink that you enjoy, like, traditionally? Like, I don't know.
I love a cup of coffee in the morning when I'm writing. I'm a big coffee drinker. But normally it's water.
Okay.
I don't often snack when I write, mostly because I will just snack and not write. I love food.
Same. Get messy if you're snacking too much and writing too much, I'm sure. Awesome. So coffee or water? How do you drink your coffee?
Normally I have like a drip coffee with just some cream in it, some dairy-free cream, because some of us can't process dairy and we're depressed about it, but
I'm so sorry to hear that. That is very sad. Like,
it was the saddest day of my life, honestly, to be like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to eat like a nice hard cheese again.
Oh my gosh, I think the cheese thing is what I could do without like the milk and cream. I could do without ice cream. It's the cheese. Like
they have good ice cream now. There's at least that. I have found good ice cream, but cheese? I don't know what, like they cannot get their stuff together for cheese. I've never found a cheese. Never.
That is sad. Very sad. Oh. Well, I'm sorry to bring up a sad
yeah.
beginning of our questions, but I love asking people like how they drink their coffee and stuff, because I was interviewing another author recently, and she was like, well, I've been drinking this tea, and she like gave me like, and it wasn't just tea, it was like tea with like cream and sugar, but a special certain type of tea. So like I couldn't stop thinking about it for days, and I had to like instantly go and buy all the stuff to make it, and it's very good. So I selfishly am trying to find fun.
I'm so boring. I'm like, yeah, I just drink regular coffee. I'm also cheap, and I'm like, I gotta spend money on editing services. I don't got money for Starbucks, people.
No, sorry, but I'll take all the Starbucks gift cards you want to give me.
No, if you want to give me Starbucks money, I'm not saying no. But if you want a good book from me, I gotta pay those editors.
Exactly. Are there lots of coffee shops in the Yukon? Like, just out of curiosity.
There's quite a bit. Like, I buy local coffee from my coffee machine. But yeah, like we have Starbucks, we have Tim Hortons if you're Canadian, and you know Tim Hortons is disgusting. It's like the Dunkin' Donuts of Canada, But yeah, and then we have like a bunch of like little local coffee shops, and they're really nice, and they're good. I prefer the local coffee shops. If I'm really gonna go get coffee, I'm gonna go to a local shop because they do the best coffee.
Lately, I've been really vibing with the local coffee shops. All right, yellow, orange, pink, or green?
Let's go green.
Green. I mean, you can go pink the whole time. I just have to switch it up. Okay, green.
I'm going with my husband's favorite color now. We're going to do a luck thing.
Wow. GREEN. Same number options, 1, 2, 5, or 6, just not 5, because we already answered it.
So let's do 1. Lucky number 1.
Lucky number 1. Okay, so this is your like annoying icebreaker question, like from back in school. What are 3 things that readers might not know about you?
Oh, I thought it would be like, who's your crush? And I'm like, well, I'm married, so I can't tell you guys.
You can DM it to me. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, 3 things people might not. Well, number 1, it might surprise people to actually learn that I'm from the Yukon, which is not in Alaska. It's its own Canadian territory. Let's see. I knit on top of reading and writing. I don't show a lot of that on my page, but every once in a while in my stories, I will show what I'm working on whenever I remember to take a picture. And yeah, what else? I'm trying to think. It's always so hard. I'm like, what do people not know about me? Yeah, I don't share it much, but I have 2 kids, so a lot of people might not realize that I have 2 children who run around and they're wild and crazy, and I have to juggle mom life with author life and work life and every other part of my life. So yeah,
it's a secret. That is awesome.
Yeah. It really is. Just all the mom writers out there.
Thank you for sharing history with us. That is awesome. If you're watching this or listening to this and you can relate to any of Laura's facts that she just shared, let us know in the comments because I would love to see that. I like to find similarities between myself and authors and also what the audience vibes with. So let us know. All right. Pink, green, orange, or yellow?
I gotta go through all the colors now. Let's go orange.
Orange. All right. Here we go. Orange. Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 5, or 6. It just depends on probably how I hold this paper version.
I guess we're going to. Oh wait, no wait. We've only done 2. Okay, we'll go 2. We'll do number 2.
Okay. Question number 2. We're about to have to retire that set of questions. Okay. So as I mentioned at the beginning, Laura also reads and reviews books in addition to writing books. So I want to know, what are your favorite tropes to read and what are your favorite tropes to write?
Oh, so this year I got really into taboo romance, and I'm finding one of my favorites is ex-boyfriend's dad. I really like that. It's a lot. More than maybe I should admit. But whenever I answer on Bookstagram, because some people get a little weird about taboo romance, I always say Grumpy Sunshine, because that's always if I read the back of the book and they're like Grumpy Sunshine, I'm like immediately yes. I don't even care what the rest of the synopsis is. All you gotta write is Grumpy. The back of the book could literally say Grumpy Sunshine. I'm like, yes, I don't know what this is about. And then to write, I tend to like to write opposites attract. I feel like it's in every book. And I definitely like to write friends to lovers or strangers to lovers, or tend to be the two that I lean toward.
Very nice. I'm in a little bit of a friends to lovers vibe right now, which wasn't a trope I always grabbed. I mean, I liked it, but I wasn't yes, friends to lovers. Lately, I've been into it. I've been really into it. So
lately, I found it's interesting. The one trope that I'm always about is second chance romance. But I've come to a couple that I'm like, maybe the tides are turning on this trope for me.
That's my number one favorite trope, always and forever. I always tell people I am a giant walking red flag when it comes to my tropes, because I'm people, it's the controversial ones, people are you either love or you hate second chance romance. You either love or you hate accidental pregnancy. You either
I love accidental pregnancy.
All my favorites, give me. Third act breakup, sure, bring it on. I'm that person who's it's just some people hate them and some people love them, and I'm I just love them.
I feel, I'm a person, I give every book a fair shake, because I'm maybe it's not the trope I like, but maybe you're the person to write it in a way that I relate to. Because I've also read tropes I love where I'm it was mid.
Right. Yes, that's true. And I feel a really good author can convince me to love anything.
Totally, yeah.
Sure, Monster Smith. Never read it, but I bet you can make me love it. Yeah. No.
I read it. It's good.
Definitely. I was just reading a book recently that in the book started to talk about it as a side conversation happening in the book, and it was cracking me up so hard, and I was I need to just put a poll up or a question box or something up in my Instagram stories and somebody just give me a rec for this trope so I can say I've read it.
Let me give you a rec that'll ease you into it, and that's Ice Planet Barbarians. It's such a fast read that it's just kind of it's so fast to read that you're oh, I'm in this. I'm in it. Okay, well, here we go. Okay. That's what happened to me.
Okay, done. I'm writing it down to remind me.
And then it's weirdly a gateway. A gateway book.
And then
those 90s and aughts classes we had to take.
This podcast is just going to be about monster authors.
Yeah, no more other authors, only monsters.
Sorry, it was fun, but no, not anymore. Awesome. Well, I'm excited about that. Thanks for sharing those tropes with me. If you're watching and listening, or in the audience, comment and let us know what tropes you like, and if you can relate to any of those, because I'm always looking for new tropes to try.
Or apparently, if you have some monster romance,
let me know those recs in the comments. Absolutely. Algorithm is going to be all over the place as well. who sees this episode. All right. Pink, green, orange, or yellow?
Let's go yellow. Maybe we're gonna get a different set of numbers.
Probably not. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong with the flipping. Okay. YELLOW. 1, 2, 5, or 6. Would you like to answer question 6? And I'm gonna have to make it up moving forward. Okay, question number 6. What is your favorite part of the writing process?
You know, I used to really hate editing, but this year I've really started to embrace that part of the process. And I think it's because I realize, and my editor says this all the time, she's like, it's where the magic happens. And this year I think is the first time I'm really like, wow, this really is where the magic happens. This is where my ideas go from just being like, kind of these vomited out ideas that I sort of edited through myself into being like fully fledged thoughts and feelings and vibes that readers will be able to relate to. So lately that's kind of been my favorite, but I'm also been in a very editing heavy phase of my life right now. I'm in my editing era if we're going by Swift stuff.
I like it. So break it down for somebody like me who's never written a book. I'm going to slide in an extra question here. I'm getting a bonus right now. First of all, what is your planning style of writing? Like, I've learned that there's plotters and there's pantsers and there's mix of the two. Like, how does that work for you?
So for me, I try my hardest to be the greatest plotter in the world. But inevitably I will plot something out down to a T. I've got it figured out. And then I'm writing and I'm like, the motivation has changed now. And this has changed. And this doesn't make sense to this character. And all of a sudden, like the plotting's just gone out the window. So I call myself a plantster. Like I'm somewhere in between, probably closer to a plotter, but you know, still not. I'm not into the rigidness of plotting.
I love it.
And then, yeah, was that the only question, or did you ask me how it goes from there?
Well, that was the next part of my extended questions. So then, what is like the time frame? Like how long does it typically take you, like to get from the plotting to the editing to the here it is, now readers can read it? Like, what is that like time wise?
Yeah, it depends on the book. So Calorglen was like years. I originally wrote the first one in 2020 when I was going through a panic that I would never travel again. It was never going to happen. So I had to go somewhere in a book.
At home, yeah.
The baby at the time, like I was like, oh god. And then I finally just put it out last year. So that was like 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and For the Love of Art was a long time too. Yeah, I feel like it probably takes me a couple years to get from first draft to I've edited it to I've given it to my editor to I've then done the edits that the editor's done to like get to the end. I would say it takes me a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. I feel like every author I've talked to is just so different. Like everyone just has their own style, and I love that. I like how personalized the writing process can be for people. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice. In traditional publishing, I mean, it can be like you're given months to produce a book, right? Whereas with like indie, I kind of have that ability to pick it up, put it down, you know, whatever, live my life.
You have a lot of like your own flexibility and control over that process, which probably is nice when you're having to juggle so many different things and have a good product. So
yeah.
Very nice. Okay, let's see if we can get another set of numbers. I don't know. Okay, not making promises. Pink, green, orange, or yellow?
Let's go back to pink. Pink's gonna do it.
Open it a different way. I wish I remembered each time how I open this, but I also like move it around each time, which is it's just a problem. Okay, PINK. We didn't get it, so I'm gonna budget 3, 4, 7, or 8.
Let's go 7.
Question number 7. All right. For question 7, I have a fill in the blank, but you don't have to fill in the blank.
Oh boy, this is like Cards Against Humanity. Oh man.
Which, by the way, I was at Readers Take Denver back in whenever that was, April, I don't know. And did you know that there's an indie author out there who created like a romance book like version of Cards Against Humanity? And I'm blanking on what it's called, but I'm gonna find it before this episode airs and plug it in the caption.
Oh
For
my God, that's so cool.
I'll put the link in there, and I'll DM it to you before then. But we played it. A group of us were playing it one night, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cute, and it's a lot of tropes. And anyways, it was entertaining. But
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, I'll definitely send that, and I'll link it in the caption. Okay, so the fill in the blank is: when readers pick up my book, I hope they blank.
When readers pick up my book, I hope they enjoy it.
You like it, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I hope they connect with the characters. That's like my one thing, is I really do try to make relatable characters, especially for, like, obviously I write romance, so I'm gearing my books towards women, but especially for women.
Yes, absolutely. I think that I feel like some readers, and I used to be this way, where like I would read a book and I'd want to like escape to that place, right? So like I'm reading billionaire books, and it's like not at all relatable. But now I'm like in my relatable era, like you said, where like for the last few years, like all I want to read is like something that I can actually relate to, like characters who are relatable,
yeah,
a little bit imperfect, whatever, but just like feel real versus. And I still love a good billionaire romance, don't get me wrong. Like I love to read it, but like I do love a relatable book, a book that I can, really connect with. So
well, that's funny, because like when I wrote For the Love of Art, that was the one thing I wanted. I was like, you know what? I want to write a billionaire book, but I want it to be relatable in some way. Like I want the main character to feel like someone who could be your friend or you or whatever, like, like that like he's not relatable. Okay, I'm sorry, Nathan, you're not relatable. You're a billionaire. I wish I was a billionaire, but I'm not even close.
Exactly. But like the female main character is like relatable, and that's what's like so fun, is that like you can like really connect and like see yourself with the other main character.
Exactly. Yeah. And also her two best friends, I'm like, they're amazing, and they're very relatable too, and like that friendship dynamic is very relatable, and that's what I was really wanted to go for.
Love a good side characters, love good girlfriends and books. It's such a fun read when you have all of that in there. And then, I mean, I'm gonna relate to the 35 piece, so there we go.
Whenever I thought that was so old.
I'm still thinking it's old, but I get what you're saying. It's not really that old. But like, oh my gosh, like I'm if you round up, I'm at 40. But it's okay. If you're watching this and you're 40, 40 is still young. 40 is still young. I'm not saying it's old.
Oh man. That's so funny. My husband just turned 36 yesterday, and that's what he was like, oh god, if you round up, I'd be 40.
Yep. Round it up. 40 is the new 25. It's okay.
It is, yeah.
All right, pink, yellow, green, or orange.
Let's try green. We'll see if it goes the right way. If not, it's going to be fudging it again.
We're fudging it again. Zero hope. Okay. You said green, right?
I said green, yeah.
Green. It worked. Okay.
Yes.
3, 4, 7, or 8. You already answered question 7.
Let's go 3.
Question number 3. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit of what's next in the Calorglen? Calorglen.
Your name to pronounce is coming.
I so badly want to be able to say that correctly. Oh my gosh, my phone thinks I said Siri. Nothing that I just said sounded like Siri. Okay, I get I messed it up. I'm not talking to you. That was not. For the love of God, I know how to say it at this point. All right. Anyways, are you able to like tell us when we can?
Yeah, I can, because it's on my page. If you go to my page, you can actually see what's coming next. And the third book is called Brodick. So it takes place in Scotland, Brodick, Scotland, to be exact. which is on the Isle of Arran. So if you go to Glasgow, you would catch a ferry, and that takes you to the Isle of Arran, and that's where Broderick is. So that's the third book. I don't want to give too much away on the main character because it might be a spoiler to the novella, but you will see glimpses of the characters from the first book, and you won't see all of them. You're going to see the two main characters from the book, and you'll hear about all the side characters. But yeah, it's a story about, it's got a virgin female main character. There's an age gap. And there's a Scottish doctor with a man bun and a kilt, and he's so good looking. And it's a lot of fun. And we will be going back to Puck Fair. So anyone who read Calorglen and was like, man, I want to go back to Puck Fair again, we are going to go back. We are going to go back to Calorglen for a quick little visit because we have to see those two main characters and see how life is going for them. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I've got right now.
So I feel like maybe I should know this, but have you been to Scotland? Like when you're writing about Scotland? Oh, so you're just like, are you just winging it? Researching it?
I've been researching. I researched everything. Like Calorglen came because I've always wanted to go to Puck Fair, but it's just never been like the right time, young kids, pregnant, married, building a house, like all these things came first, and then all of a sudden COVID hit. So I'm like, well, I'm never going anywhere again. The world shut down forever. And that whole bit. So I wrote about it because it was something that I'd always wanted to do. And then it just kind of like grew from there. Like a very Calorglen Christmas came because I couldn't say goodbye to Patrick and Laurel. I would just sit there and think about them. I'm like, I miss them. Like, what happened to them? And it was Christmas time, and I was like, let's just write a little novella to like make myself feel
miss them. Exactly. I know, I'm sure the readers appreciate that. Like I said earlier, it's just so hard to say goodbye to some of our favorite characters after we like invest ourselves in them. So that is awesome.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Sometimes after a romance, I'm like, I'm not ready to say goodbye to them.
And just keep rereading and rereading. I know. Awesome. Well, thank you for giving us those little tidbits on the next one. All right. Yellow, orange, green, or pink?
Orange. Orange has got us.
It's gotta be it. Orange. And we are like, what is going on? Now we're finally hitting all of them. 3, 4, 7, or 8. You've already answered 3 and 7. So
let's do 8.
Question number 8. Now I need like my glasses. Oh, another fill in the blank. Really? I don't know why I say this because it's not at all like, it doesn't need to be fill in the blank. This question is, my ideal book boyfriend is blank. And just describe him.
My ideal book boyfriend is Jamie Fraser. Like, just insert Jamie Fraser here. That is it.
Yeah.
The kilt? Being from like the 1800s?
Done.
All of it.
That just reminded me of something. Totally something off. What about like personality traits for those who like are now watching this and like, okay, maybe I need to like definitely hurry up and read this book because kilt and all these fun things. What like is his personality like?
Oh, Byrne, like from Broderick? So yeah, the two characters' names are Aisling and Byrne, just because I'm like, I'll say the name and that if you go to my page, you'll know their names. Byrne, he's a doctor. He's very caring. You'll definitely get similar vibes to Patrick without him being Patrick, because all my readers really loved Patrick just as a character. Yeah. So I tried to make him somewhat similar. He's a very proud Scotsman. He loves Scotland. And yeah, like he's just very compassionate, caring, like what you'd want in a doctor, what we all dream our doctors to be, is what I made him. And yeah, like he's just very handsome. He's got a man bun, like a nice beard, but it's trimmed. It's not like scraggly. It's like a nice trimmed beard.
Who takes care of him?
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah. And he's 35, so he's not old, everybody.
Right.
But Aisling is only 22, so yeah.
35 years young, exactly.
I'm 34 years young, turning 35 years young.
Very nice. All right, perfect. So, unfortunately, last round of this, I have one question left in the paper fortune teller before we go into the second part of the show with the interview. So, what color would you like to choose? Yellow, orange, pink?
Well, this feels hard because I'm like, what if we get it wrong? Let's do pink. I'm going to go out on pink, my favorite color.
All your fault. No. P-I-N-K. And you did it. You did it. It's all right. 3,
Yay.
4, 7, or 8. Would you like to answer question 4?
I feel like I have no choice.
No, you don't. Okay, question number 4. I love this question. If you're, and you can pick whichever of the books you want to pick, you could do all of them. It's up to you. Well, I mean, 2 of them have the same characters. But if your books were to be turned into a movie or a show, who would your dream cast be? And you take this wherever you want to take this.
Oh man. Yeah. It's so funny because there's only one book that I've actually really thought about my dream cast for, and I haven't really announced much about it. So I'm like, now I'm gonna have to think about this. Who would I want?
Take your time.
Yeah, I feel like if I had to pick, oh, this is a hard one. I don't do a lot of movie casting because I weirdly don't know a lot of celebrities.
I used to be so into movies and celebrity drama and
gossip. Yeah, me too.
I'm just like so out of it now because now I just read. I don't really like watch anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to think which one would be like the easiest to think about. This is gonna be a lot of cutting out and editing.
Okay. It's a hard question. Well, I'll say this. I've asked this question only a handful of times, and half of the time the author is like, I have no idea. I don't watch anything, and I'm like, I get it. And the other half of the time the person's like, oh, I can tell you. It's this like all mapped out. Like the Pinterest board, and it would be this person, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like you're either like really into the movie adaptation of your book, or it's not something you thought about.
Yeah, I feel like for Laurel, I'm gonna go with Calorglen. Okay. For Laurel, I would probably see like Jodie Sweetin in her role. Yeah, it just feels right. I feel like she could pull off the right stuff. Yeah. And for Patrick's hard. I don't know very many Irish actors, so it's gonna have to be someone who can do an Irish accent. But yeah, I don't know. I could see because I could see like Penn Badgley doing him just because he's got like the nice scruffy look. His hair color's not quite right, but I could see him being able to pull it off. Like he's got the right look about him to do it.
Got it. I love it. Yeah. Very, very handsome. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Love a good Irish accent.
Yeah. And I also like the thing about Calorglen too that was really important to me was that I wanted it to be very much like 2 average people coming together. I also really wanted that dynamic of she makes more money than him. Like she's a dentist, he's a delivery truck driver. Like she's the breadwinner, and I really wanted that because I think that's such a power dynamic that never gets shown. It's always like the man makes more money or is more successful. Not that Patrick's not successful. He's a happy guy. Like success is relative. It's in the eye of the beholder. But yeah, so I like the idea like Jodie and Penn Badgley. I'm like they're good looking people, but they're very average looking people at the same time.
Yeah. Like
if you ever watch this, hi.
Hi, to be in this book, please, in this film adaptation. Yeah.
Please reach out.
I think you're very nice looking. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're nice looking, and if you could also give me a screenwriter because I don't know how to screenwrite. So if you know one,
yeah, exactly. We just need you to do all the work. Actually,
we just need you to do all the work. Use all your connections. And if you could introduce me to Dave Coulier at the same time, and Andrea Barber, I will just,
There you
yeah.
go. Exactly.
Not too many things. Not too many desires, but.
Actually, very low ask. Like, I feel like that's not asking much. It's very.
I know, I'm asking you to basically put it all together for me and introduce me to a few people. Like, that's
a quick favor. It's just a favor between two friends, and it's not a big deal. Yeah.
totally.
I'm going to manifest this for you, for sure. Well, that actually is a good segue into our next portion of the author interview, and that is a nostalgic throwback game that you get to choose. And I say that's a good segue because sometimes authors choose MASH and we get to create this like fun fantasy world, but you get to choose between MASH, Never Have I Ever, Truth or Dare, and Two Truths and a Lie.
Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm at a sleepover.
Hello, that's why I say it's a literary sleepover. I'm so excited. I'm going to soundbite it now. I'm going to take that soundbite and I'm going to flash it all over the interweb.
Yes, I'm doing. It's like I feel like I'm at a sleepover with my like besties again. Okay, MASH, Truth or Dare, Never Have I Ever, or Two Truths. I want to go with I'm between MASH and Never Have I Ever. Let's go with Never Have I Ever. You know, I don't really drink anymore, so this feels like the only opportunity to play.
I love it, and it's such a fun game. So typically, Never Have I Ever. I mean, in college, I was played with like 5 fingers. What I have learned through playing this on the pod is that it takes forever to get through 5 fingers, so I have shortened it to 3. As we're learning each other, and unless we start doing low blows and I say things like never have I ever written a book, it takes a while to get through the numbers. So which I will start to do. I can tell you're like, kill me now, I'm done. So never have I ever, for those who have never played this game before, is typically played with like some fun drinks, and you are making statements of things that you've never done with the intention of getting the other person to put down a finger. You want to be the last person remaining with a finger, at least one finger up, and that's how you win. So if you're listening to this episode and not watching this episode, I will do my best to narrate what is happening between the two of us after each statement. So, Laura, would you like to go first? You're the guest.
I have to hold up the fingers.
Okay, there are 3 fingers. Yeah.
3. Okay. Never have I ever read Stephen King.
I've never read. Oh no, I've never read it. So I don't put a finger down. Yeah. So I would put my finger down if I had read it. I think I left that part out. But we both still have our 3 fingers up. And I've never read Stephen King either. Something the other day, like he just popped. I think because of Halloween coming up, I keep like Stephen King Rex, but like I typically will go a different direction for my.
Yeah, I'm not a horror fan, so I've never read his work.
No, never. But I feel like growing up, like my dad did or something. I feel like I saw like a lot of his books around. Okay. Never have I ever started to read a series and got like through a few books and didn't finish the series.
I am so bad. I cannot read a series like one after, like I have to love it to be able to go like boom, 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 boom. So there's a lot of series that I've like read the first book of and like have not read any others.
I can totally get that. Once I'm like committed into the series, I have to finish it. I feel like, I once I read at least one of the books, I have to keep going. I have read some series out of order though. Okay, your turn.
Never have I ever bought a book just because I thought the cover was pretty.
Oh, you're down. That is like one of my most toxic traits. I am a total, that cover's pretty, give it to me, and then like I haven't read it yet. Absolutely, I am a total judge a book by its cover person. So now we both only have 2 fingers up. Okay. Never have No, I'm not going to say that one. I feel like I've gotten myself into some controversy over reviews. So I'm going to stay away from the review topic. Never have I ever, never have I ever stopped reading a book because of the pet names or the nicknames in the book.
Never done it.
Never. Some people I know are like, so like, I can't read a book if the nickname is like very.
Really? Oh yeah, no. I was like, I'm so weird. Like, I don't notice a lot of things, and even if it does bother me, I like, okay, like 50 Shades of Grey. Okay, the Later's baby thing. I was like, oh, like, no, absolutely not. But did I read? Did I read all 3 books? Absolutely, I did. Did I read the books when she came out with Christian Grey's side? Yeah. Absolutely, I did. I skipped over that cringy thing. I was just like, no, you're gonna power through it.
You're gonna get through the Later's.
You're just gonna get through it.
Get stronger from it. Yeah.
I am stronger because it's still to this day. Later's baby is like, ugh. I just ugh.
Not about that part.
I feel like I've forgotten so much of those books, but that is something that has stuck in my mind.
Yes, like I just can't move past it. I actually no, I feel like there is something like that to me, like in some sort of book I've read where like I just can't move past it, but it's not really ringing a bell right now, but it'll hit me eventually. All right.
Okay. I guess I gotta come. Never have I ever stopped reading a book because I didn't like the oh no, now I've lost the word for it. Like if it's in first or third person.
Oh.
Never have I ever done that.
I have. Finger down. I only have one finger. I admittedly have a very hard time with third person, but I have found, so I've started a few books that are third person that I really know that I'm going to love, but I just read them so much slower. I think it's because of like something in my brain where like first person's easier for me, third person's harder, but I have found that I am obsessed with listening to them. So like I'll have Alexa read them to me. Oh. I love listening to third person point of view. So like, what is it called? Like where Alexa will like, I don't know, but she reads them to me now. And that is amazing because I really like listening to third person. And I'll read third person. I have nothing against third person, but it takes me a lot longer to read them for some reason. I don't know. Interesting. What do you prefer? Do you prefer third or first?
I prefer first, but I won't put down a book for being like, I love Tessa Bailey and she writes all third person. And yeah, I love it. But I will say I prefer third person limited over third person omniscient. But if the book is good enough, I'm probably not going to notice. I'm one of those people where like, if you draw me into your book, I'm probably not going to notice these little like nuances.
a lot of authors like Tessa Bailey, Lucy Score, like she'll sometimes go back and forth. I feel like between like in some of her books with first and third. But I have been noticing a lot more third person books coming my way.
They are, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It might be the next thing that comes in romance. You know who does it so well? And I know I talked about him in my ideal book boyfriend, but Diana Gabaldon is the queen of third person like narration, because Claire Fraser, so if you read the book, like the first book, it's all in first person. It's all in Claire Fraser. But as the books go on and there's more characters, Claire Fraser stays in first person, but then all the other characters are third person limited, and she seamlessly goes between all these point of views. I don't even know, like I don't even clock it that I'm in third person whenever I'm reading, because she does it so, she is just like a skill level that I can't even begin to fathom. Like I just don't even understand.
What is the name? Because I have one for you too. But what was Claire?
Claire Fraser is the name of the character, but Diana Gabaldon is the author of Outlander. And yeah, I don't know how. Like, I would love to just sit down with her one day and be like, how? Just how? Can you explain this to me? Like I'm 5.
Yeah. So, and then, okay, so I have, okay, there's this book that I read third person, but you just you use a term that I've never heard of before. What is third person limited and what
So
was that?
third person limited is like being in first person, but with like just using like third person. So
Um,
like you only know their thoughts and their feelings, whereas
got
third
it.
person omniscient is like you know everyone's thoughts and everyone's feelings, and that one is really really hard. And the only book I've read, like, and I admittedly have not read a lot, that I thought did it really well was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern.
Okay.
I thought she did it really well. Like,
So
again, another encore. I'm like, just how?
okay, so I just listened to an audiobook by a brand new debut author. Her name's A. Atkins, and she's actually going to be on the show soon.
Oh, them bones, right?
Yes. Okay, Them Bones, and it's the second one that you said, the third person omission, where
Yeah, yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, and it was narrated by Jessie Elwyn, who I think
Okay, I've never heard of them, but
I think she recently won an award for like some audiobook thing where like that
I
there's
think I know A. Atkins a little bit. We do chat back and forth a little bit. I feel like, yeah, as you're saying that, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she said something about the narrator.
right.
She's lovely. She's also helped me navigate like some things where I'm like, I don't know what to do here. And she's like, let me tell you what to do. And I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh.
perfect.
That book blew me away. And that narrator was phenomenal. Like I want to go and now listen to like everything she reads because that's third person. And I first was like, oh geez, the third person book because it's just hard for me. But no, that was
It was
like
good.
the
Yeah.
easiest listen I've ever listened to, and anyways, it was really
See, and
good.
I wish people knew this about indie authors. We immediately get written off as like, oh, you're not traditionally published. And it's like, no, we are putting in all this, we're probably putting in a little bit more work
Way more.
than a traditionally published author. And I'm like, we're still doing all the same things. We're still getting edited. We're still looking for narrators and stuff. I was like, we just don't have all the same money. Like,
Right. It is
yeah,
expensive. Yeah, I don't
it's so expensive.
know how much it is. I'm assuming it's not cheap.
It's
Um,
not. Oh gosh, getting a like I would love to get Calorglen turned into an audiobook, but just like the cost of narration, it's like I don't think it's gonna happen like in the near future, guys.
yeah,
Unless I win the lottery.
I have, well, I don't know. I've never really gotten a chance yet to talk to A. Atkins, like other than like I posted my review for her book and we connected like quickly like in DMs and then she signed up to be on the show and but I have a lot of questions for her for sure. I'm like I have to that book
She's
was like insane.
she's so lovely. Like she's so
But
lovely.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
love also like something that I learn about the indie author community, not being an indie author myself, but I love how connected you guys are. Like you're all supportive of each other and like it sounds like I don't know, you guys have like fun groups of just like support within the community and that's fun. I like that.
Well, it's like, I always say the way I view it, and I can only speak for myself, is I don't view other authors as my competition. Like, I'm
Right.
a reader myself. Like, I don't care if I always talk about these three books. I read The Highland Fling by Megan Quinn, Ruby Spencer's Whiskey and Kill Trip. They are literally at their bones the same book. It's an American woman who goes to Scotland and saves a small, it's the same book. I
Yeah.
will read a fourth one if you put it out. I
Yeah.
don't even care, like so like these
Exactly.
people are not my even if they wrote a book like Calorglan, I still don't view them as my competition because as a reader, I know there is someone who's dying to read
Oh yeah.
Calorglan again, or they'll read that book and they'll be dying to read it and they'll find my book. And so I'm like, we're not each other's
No,
competition. We
no.
are the people who can be like, oh, you love my book? Now check out this one because it's so similar and you'll love it. If you love this vibe, you'll love it. And so it's like we can help each other find readers, and
I
that's
love
my personal view as a reader and writer.
I love it. I think that's
Mhm.
exciting. And I'm the same way. Like as a reader, like you can give me the same, you know, accidental pregnancy trope where they had a one night stand in Vegas and I'm going to read it every single time. I don't care who wrote it. I don't care.
Like,
Like
well, I don't care if you're at the same hotel.
yeah, the names are the same and the kid's name is the same. Like whatever, just give it to
Like,
me.
just give it to me.
I no, not a turn off for me in any way.
I know, and I'm like, give it to me. Yep. Oh, is that cowboy grumpy on a single day? Absolutely, send it my way.
Single dads, exactly. Just line them up. Yeah, that took us to a whole different conversation. The third person point of view, but that was a good one. No one's ever asked me that before, and I just so I have a list of third person point of view books that I have started that I didn't yet finish, and it has nothing to do with the quality of the books or the plot or the tropes or anything. But now I'm going back and having Alexa read them to me because I know I'm going to love them. They have to listen.
Now we just got to figure out monster romance for you, and we'll be there.
Monster romance. I mean, that's on my list. Okay, let's see. But did that just end it? Did you just knock me out?
No. You have one. I have two.
Got it. Thank you. See, this is where my ADD kicks in. Got it. Okay. So I have one finger remaining. Laura has two, and it's my turn to try to get her down to one. Let's see. Okay. I had a good one and I lost it. Never have I ever not read a book because of the trope.
I've never not read a book because of the trope. If I like the premise, it's like, I'm gonna try it.
There's not a single trope I'll turn down. I also
it's like there's ones I like better than others, but like if I enjoy the premise of the book, like my friend Lindsay, she writes under L.E. Wagensveld. She has a book called Second Chance on Sunrise Ranch, and it's on my list, even though I know it's a second chance romance, but it's on my list because it just, all of her advertising, all of her talking to me about it, I'm like, this sounds so freaking good. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna read it. And I bet you I'll love it.
Dang it. Did not get a finger down. Okay.
No, you didn't get me. Okay. Let's see her. This is hard. I'm trying to think of bookish ones.
And it is hard, and this is why we don't do the 5 fingers.
Yeah. Take a long time, yeah. Trying to look at my books and see if I can like come up with something. It's hard.
It is.
Like, what is something I've never done while reading?
It's the bookish twist that makes it challenging. For sure.
It is. Yeah, it definitely is. Never have I ever signed up for a book box just to get pretty books.
I'm out. So I have a big little note to add. So I had to just recently cancel my Probably Smut subscription because I subscribed to it like over the summer and I've gotten like 6 boxes. I haven't opened any of them. Not opened any of them, and they're all right here, and I have not opened any of them. So, yeah, I need to do that. I think I'm gonna set aside time tomorrow to like open them, get all the goodies out. I don't even know what books are in them, but
you do not know what books. Like,
they're all right here, and I bet they're amazing, and I bet I'm gonna love them. But I did sign up for the pretty like special edition type covers and things that they do and the swag that comes with it. And I'm staring at the stack of them in front of me. So guilty, and you knocked me out. I just lost. You won. So
I do subscribe to a book box, but I subscribe to it because I'm like, I can actually find books I'll read. I subscribe to Book of the Month, so.
Okay, I think I've heard of that one, and do they do the blind date with a book?
No. Yeah, I'm not sure. I just like it because every month they give me a selection, and then if I don't like any of the books, like this month I didn't like any of the books that they had, I just like skip a month and then they don't charge me this month, and I just
nice.
Yeah, and I love it. Yeah. Yeah.
I need to check it out. Maybe that'll be my next.
But they're not pretty covers. They're literally just like the same covers that you'd get anywhere.
Really, I don't care. That is awesome. So if you are listening to this episode, she knocked me out. I have no fingers remaining. You're the winner in this game of Never Have I Ever Bookish Edition. And
it's so hard.
I told you it's hard. I told you.
It's like, what do I say?
It is challenging, and to keep it bookish related is even, it adds another layer. Plus, we're getting to know each other, which is like not easy when you're playing Never Have I Ever.
Yeah, and there's also like, not trying to, create vitriol, but it's like there's also hot topics in the bookish community, so you also have to avoid those topics at the same time that you're trying to like do it. So it's like, oh.
I'm trying to avoid the low blows. Like, never have I ever written a book that blah blah blah. Like,
Never have I ever read Monster Smut. Well, jeez.
Exactly. Never have I ever written a book about taking place in Scotland. So I thank you for playing that and entertaining me with a fun, nostalgic game with a bookish twist. That was a lot of fun. And thank you so much for just being on this episode. I had so much fun getting to know you and learn more about your books, your writing style. I'm going to drop all of the links in the caption for those in the audience to be able to quickly connect with you. But do you mind telling them where they can find your books and where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, so my books are on our Overlord the Zon. So you can find them on Amazon. They're also on Kindle Unlimited. It's the only place where you can get ebook copies. Soon you will be able to get paperbacks in Indigo, but no ebook for Kobo readers out there if you're Canadian and wondering. And then like my social media, I'm at lmeredith.books on Instagram, on Threads. I'm not super on TikTok, so don't worry about finding me there. It's pretty much all the social media I'm on.
Oh, well, perfect. And I have your links. I'm going to just go ahead and drop those in the caption so people can quickly click and find you. If you are listening or watching this episode, please let us know in the comments something that you relate to, which one of Laura's books you're interested in diving into. And if you've read one, let us know all about it in the comments. I'm excited to see what those viewers or listeners have to say. Make sure you click and subscribe and like this episode. And Laura, I hope you'll come back on when your next book releases. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I would love to be back. This was so much fun. I really feel like I was like at a sleepover, like just like hanging out with my girlfriends in like the 90s, early aughts.
I used to be so excited. I was like, 90s.
If only Backstreet Boys Larger Than Life was playing in the background and we were making fun of that music video, that's the only time I would like complete this whole experience.
Exactly. And it's a literary sleepover. It's the vibe. I love it. Love it. So thank you for joining me for it. And we'll talk soon. And I appreciate you coming on the show. And I will be bribing you to come back on. So have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on this episode of She's All Books. Bye. All right, book besties. That's a wrap on this totally rad episode of She's All Books. If you're digging this vibe, don't be a square. Smash that subscribe button faster than you can say as if. Want to keep the convo going? Hit me up on social media at She's All Books. Drop a comment, share your fave book, or tell me what you want to hear next. I'm all ears. And hey, if you thought this episode was all that, spread the word. Tell your besties, your mom, even that cute barista at the local coffee shop. The more, the merrier. Stay tuned for the next episode, dropping Mondays at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a blast. Until then, keep it real and keep on reading. See ya!